everybody. I'm Melody Richardson, and I am Governor for Regions 3 and 4 for Eta Kappa Nu. Today, I want to introduce you to Dr. Neeli Prasad. Neeli's a global expert in security, wireless networking, and the Internet of Things. She is based in Silicon Valley and is an entrepreneur and consultant who has led innovation efforts from concept to commercialization. Neeli has worked for major companies like Cisco and Nokia Siemens and led international research teams across the US, European, Japan, and India platforms. She was an early contributor to the Internet of Things and has played a key role in shaping the future Internet assembly. She is known for her work in smart cities, e-health, and commercialization of the WLAN, with 2 books and numerous publications to her name. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Neeli Prasad.
Thank you so much, Melody, for the kind introduction and also inviting me for this presentation and lecture. Welcome, everyone, and hope you enjoy this session. So the topic today, after thinking for a couple of days, weeks, human-AI equilibrium with ethics, privacy, and the future of data society. Now, you would wonder why I chose this topic. If you look, and you will see as I go down with my slides and talk, why we need it. What is ethics? Why is the privacy, data privacy, or digital privacy so important? And what is our society going towards, or it has become? So just to give you a quick, you already heard about it. I have worked through different domains, as we call it, both telecom, enterprise. I have been in academia, and now being my own boss, starting my startups from 2019, and looking into how the world is and towards where we are going now. So having that experience and being able to sit across any, the table, different sides, working with government and telecom industries, we can see how and where we are going and what is impacting our society. Where is it we should look at? What should we look at? And of course, just to be proud of, I have been IEEE member for 34 or 30 plus years, been involved as a student member from high school, not only just university. So those are different areas where you can find me, and also part of my professional and you can find me on ChatGPT if you Google chat. No, I shouldn't say Google. You should be able to just find Neeli Prasad and professional life on ChatGPT. So just to give you a quick summary of my company, we are on different layers, and we start from not fundamental research, but take from university and go all the way to production, but not bringing it all the way to market yet. So tier 6, T6, 2 to 6, you could say that is our expertise and work we do. So that is a bit about my company. You can go on our website and look more into it. And now with that, I will not take more time in talking about myself and the company, but more into what is AI and what is the ethics and privacy we are talking about. I don't know if anyone have listened to NVIDIA talk couple of weeks ago, couple of days ago, about how AI is evolving and has evolved, and how fast we are accepting it in our society, in ourselves. Where are we at this moment? So they are, we started with perception AI, where it was mostly the image, audio, and how and where we were. The key technologies behind it was computer vision, AlexNet. Just to give you a few examples, you can think and find more about it. We are now in generative AI, so we are using it. And how far are we going? What algorithms are behind it? We will discuss in my other slides later on, and what kind of models we are using it. Synthetic data generation is happening there. So how and the commands we are giving. Next one is agentic AI, which is basically really getting into understanding where how it is developing. You don't need to give a command like create or image, give me an image or crisp the document I'm writing, or some other commands like in generative AI, but it is taking beyond that. And I will show you also some comparison between generative and agentic AI later. And finally is the physical AI, which is basically autonomous vehicle, and looking into robotic, how close we are getting into the physical world now. So just to give you a few examples and real world. So as I go on in my talk, I will give you real stories and what harms or good has AI done to our society, to us as users, and where are we? And then I will move into how and where we should look at to improve or create more better AI solutions, algorithms, where to look at, what the guidelines should be. So just to give you 5 examples here, I'm giving like real world stories. Deep fake fraud in financial. I don't know how many of you have seen or read this news. In 2020, a bank manager in Hong Kong was deceived by a deep fake voice, and where basically executive's voice was mimicked, impersonated, and resulting into $35 million heist. So you can imagine this can happen, and this has happened already. And this is just one example. There are other banks also where I can give examples of, or finance world where this has happened. Or you can even read about it or Google it to find more. So what is the ethical concern there, and how can we go back and read and understand where did it go wrong? AI used the breach of trust. So what was it? It was trust between two human beings. And that's where the human connection with AI is, where like how we have to build it. It was exploiting the confidence of a human. So where are we the guardrails? Where are we the points where we have to look into is basically the verification standards, synthetic media regulations. So regulations have to be in place, and transparent transparency is needed. So you will hear a lot of terms which I'll be repeating again and again, and hopefully it will get embedded in your brains just like it is in mine. What has to change? So the other is blackmail using the health data. Now the scenario basically is like, using AI, the genetic testing results and mental health apps they actually published, and threats the public to expose, or unless it is not paid. So it's a blackmail which is happening and has happened, basically giving information, violating the medical confidentiality. So now confidentiality and autonomy is there. So if you see it, I got the trust, breach of trust, human confidence, um, medical confidentiality and autonomy. And again, what are we thinking of here is data mining. How should it be done? What should be looked at when we are doing the data minimization? Uh, who owns the health data? And do I have the consent from the patient from the data? And how do we educate the patient about this consent information. Because if you go to a doctor, you just sign it without even reading any of those consent. So the other one is AI powered disinformation in politics. And this one is basically 2023, so it's not a very old news. Just 2 years ago, fake AI generated videos of politicians making statements which were circulated in India, US, and parts of Europe. And how do I take it? You know, that information was given out, and it was on social media and other medias uh, explaining about it, undermining the democracy and manipulating the civic uh, discourse. So basically, misguiding the public. Watermark on that synthetic media is needed, and election specific AI regulation. So now I'm talking about each use case changing into it. The other one is bullying, and everyone knows cyberbullying in education, young people. It is happening as I speak. This is, I have been talking about this from 2003, and it has increased instead of decreasing. So, what is happening now? The bullying, revenge porn, different kinds of bullying, psychological, physiological harms. So, exploitation of minors, digital harassment. So again, if you need, what kind of guardrail is needed there, school policies have to change. How the AI is being used there or misused. And the other one is AI-driven discriminatory. The final, as I is profiling insurance, healthcare insurance increase, car insurance. Some of the data this morning I was talking about it also. What part of the information is needed to send out to whom? Do I want to send out to everyone? I am putting everywhere, everything, everywhere, all my information. But what part of my information is needed to be seen by certain people? And this can actually become a negative for, you know, my life insurance. Weight, weight, my medical history, all those information which is not needed for someone, and I don't want them to know. So you have to think very carefully uh, that the question is not whether AI can be misused, but whether we can afford not to design it with ethics in the core. So that's where my story is, to tell you, if ethic is not there and we have not built AI with ethics in the core. So with that, I will talk about the ethical guardrails, uh, bringing in the social values and looking very closely in what my value is, how I look into it as a human being. This is what I want to build and be used by others. So, ethical framework, uh, I will propose an ethical framework, and you can always comment on it and look into it. So, it's up to individuals or team how you are building your and what use case you're looking at. Privacy, digital privacy is very, very important. This prevents the misuse of personal information, all my information. So I just, as a fun of it, yesterday I put myself as give me on Chat GPT, give my personal and professional information. So for Neeli Prasad, and amazingly, I got like 2 pages of who Neeli Prasad is professionally, but personally, it was a one sentence saying, no information found anywhere to talk about personal information or personally about Neeli Prasad. So it gave me a very good feeling. But is it true? No information about Neeli Prasad is out there, personal information. So those questions are still there. So privacy and interdisciplinary collaboration is a must. So I will discuss more about it. So the tipping point, this is very, very important, and to see uh, uh, and understand also the AI tipping point is pervasive integration. It helps in hiring, in healthcare, in policing, but do we have ethical safeguards? So we are building the technology. You can see how fast AI came and got adopted. So global adoption. Not should not create new English words now. Adoption is happening very fast. But if I step back, I can see that are we, putting ethics in place? Are we putting privacy in place? Are we discussing with the right team of people when we are creating this technology and not just promoting it? Empathy is efficiency is there, but empathy. I always say, I love to go shopping. Not online is very nice, Amazon wonderful, or other online apps to do my shopping. But I love to go to the shop and talk to someone, a human, because that gives me a feeling of someone understands what I want, as this person, Neely, wants, not just anything online and I have just ordered without any human empathy there. So is there a balance? And those are the tipping points which we are looking at when we are looking at AI. So just to give you, if I can go back and say, okay, what is happening? And I have made some, what do you call it now, polls. And one of the questions which I have is, how confident are you that current laws and policies can keep up with AI's pace of innovation? And if you can see that, and I'm publishing it just now, and let's see if I can make it published. Okay, got it. See, I am not that tech savvy. I think there are other people here who can help me with more of this. So tension. This is me sitting when I was preparing the slides also. How and where we are, like the core issues behind it. Where are we lagging? What is lagging behind us? Innovation versus integrity. The 2 points. Rapid AI innovation. We can see, as you saw the graph, how fast are we moving and how fast we want it. We understand it. But what is missing there? What is clashing there? Integrity. Creating ethical compromises in deployment. So we are not taking into account what is the requirement from the user, from the people, or the values, human values. We are not taking that into account when we are creating these tools, these solutions. Privacy versus optimization. We are optimizing it, but what is the challenge behind it? Is privacy. The data governance to balance utility with individual rights and autonomy. Individual rights are being forgotten when we are putting those AI solutions out there. And now, just to, I am just thinking if I should give you an example here, which will scare you, or a bit later. But just to give you here, where are we? The government, the politicians, are they technically literate? Do they understand when they're making all these policymakers or the governance, when they're doing it, when they're sitting there, are the technical people in place sitting with them and discussing together, or are they tech savvy to understand where we are? The complexity is understood by them or not? Other way around, do we understand when we are designing these technical solutions? Do we understand the complexity from human behavior? How will it be used? When I talk about privacy versus optimization, how agile is this? Should we make it an agile solution, policy making? Because now I would like to have the answer from you guys also later, how you think about it on that. How agile should the solution be when I'm making my policies, or when we are expecting the country level or global level the policies being made? And that is the third point, how scalable we are making it. Is it national interests? We are looking into that. Are we protecting it? And at the global cooperation, and also individual, my benefit, how are we looking at as a human my personal benefits on it? And you can see also the change of geopolitical landscape just now, how much we are changing, how fast we are changing. So this is the one of the slides which I go back, because I come from Netherlands, and I can go back and give you an example of real AI algorithm being used in real society in 2014, which I didn't know about till my daughter, who studied political science, and in her thesis work, she actually scrutinized the algorithm and the policies in place by the Dutch government. Then I found out or knew what was happening in my own country. So, what is the dignity there? Human dignity in algorithmic age. That's what we are talking about. So, this is what they did. They used an AI algorithm or system called Syri, SYRI, to detect fraud in welfare. And this, what came out to be, and it took, let's see, 6 to 7 years to find out and go and bring them, not go after them, but bring them to court and stop the use of this system completely, and put a law against it, legally banning it to be used the way it was being used. There was no transparency, and nothing, it could not be verified where it was being used and how it was being used. And it started with a good intention, but ended up targeting the immigrants and the refugee population, because this algorithm was not built taking into account their habits, their way of working. So you can see erosion of consent was there, and then the biasness was there. So you can see how all these points came into this scenario, and this example, what I just gave you, just by using in one of the countries which is known for not discriminating their own people. Legal framework had to be changed here. So this is another example and a case study. This is predictive policing, facial recognition. Again, misidentification, not disidentification, but misidentification, which can again impact the marginal community. And I'm just looking at if you would like to see the poll on stage, or interesting, somewhat confident. I am interested in this point. So you can see not confident and the gap is widening. So you can see what I'm talking about. And this will again go on with my presentation where we are. I'm happy to see this poll results. Not happy, but happy also. So what I was, see, I lost my tray completely where I was. I got so excited. Transparency and accountability is very key to this. Who is accountable? Who do I, if something goes wrong using the proprietary AI models, who is accountable? What is the accountability mechanism behind it? How is the biased outcome effect, addressed? So these are the questions when I'm throwing at you, you have to look into it. How do I make it transparent? And the algorithms which exist today, which of these are transparent? I will list them and show them later in my presentation, but maybe you already know about it. So this is how one of the use case or case study is. The other one is very, very close to heart, and I work with the surgeons and doctors in this domain. Healthcare. AI does help them and will help them in future as we are building more solutions for them. Keeping in mind the case study, the use case, healthcare. Now, one of them is an example which I discussed with a radiologist, and he's a very good friend of mine in Denmark. And he said he looks in a day, a good day, 50 different documents to go through, or patients, 50 patient reports he goes through, and he has 15 patient in a day or something like that. He mentioned the numbers, but he has to look 50 patient reports, history, what is happening, where he has to make the call right there and then in a day, how it is happening. Now, I can see already AI can help there. Check it out, which is needed now immediately to check which patient he has to look at. Similar surgeon told us streamlining the workflow. But on the other hand, we don't have ethics in place or digital privacy in place. How do we make it fair? Fairness is missing. So we need to ensure that we have fairness, transparency, and accountability, because we are talking about a human life. And of course, trust is very important for us. Like everywhere we go, we have to have the trust. The web of trust has to be built there. So I wonder if, and how many of you know about the social credit systems? So this is a tool or system which is being used in China at present, and as I understand, it will come sooner or later to Europe and also US. This is basically monitoring and enabled by AI, monitoring and evaluating their citizens. What are we losing then? Our freedom. Would I like to be judged by a machine or a system and discriminate based on their results? So I have to be sure if this is happening and how I'm being put in a box. Surveillance, facial recognition, contrast, who are they measuring against? What is the behavior prediction? How I behave depending on the situation, how warm it is, cold, I don't know. I meet people. This is basically infringing my privacy. And you have to see what is your UN Article 12 talking about. And how many of you have read your UN rights? when you're building and working on AI, you have to know your basic rights. So, as I spoke about, I'm just looking at my time also. I have too many things to talk about it, but I will try to cut short now. So, uh, generative to agentic AI shift. What is the difference between the two of them? I already spoke about the generative AI. So it's more creative, output oriented, and I am giving a guideline, what I want. And that's how they are learning and then giving me the answers. On the other hand, agentic, it's becoming autonomous. I don't need to give the guidelines. It's becoming independent in thinking and coming up with all the solutions for me. And I was just thinking, what will happen to the PhDs now? Can they use the agentic AI and create the hypothesis and uh, do the scientific literature surveys instead of going through and that reading the thing which I was taught by my teachers and mentors. 2 minutes. How can you read many papers in the field you're going to do research on, and how can you judge which paper is good to continue with and the others you keep it aside? So this agent, research agent, this is going to help you do it. Yes, it becomes efficient. You don't have you have more time to do other things also, but you become also lazy. I'm sorry to use that word, but yes, that's what we are becoming now. I see just in my family how many of my children, I have one daughter, but niece and nephews are writing letters or sending messages. It's faster for them typing short messages to me, and that's it. I have to take an effort to call them and understand what they are how they are, video calls to see where they are, how they are, and what they are up to. But otherwise it's just small text and that's it. So how do we bring them back to how to understand and learn? So there is one thing, benefits of AI, what we are building, but the other side is what are the risks and where it is going towards the negative side. Now the good side, I have spoken a lot of scary things. I tried to keep my talk that I will not scare anyone, but believe me, there are many scary things which I am seeing be having AI in being used and the way it is being used. But here, this is just a quick example. This is done, if you see on the right hand side, this task flow tool or app was built within minutes, like, less than half an hour by the chairman of my board of my company. And you can see this is an example how AI can be used for entrepreneurial explosion and success stories. How can you, as I said already earlier, use it to improve your time and manage time management. How can you make it uh, work for you and have advanced success with that? So you can do other things where your brains are needed or your ability is needed, keeping in mind, again, I step back and I say ethics. We have to remember ethical dilemma is still there. So how we make it more demanding and make it more proactive to measures to prevent unintended bias and ensure the responsible AI deployment. So this is like we have to I can keep on repeating it all the time, and it is the ethical dilemma where we are going to. So this, I actually have another poll, and I just published it, and to show how confident are you no let's see, yes, who has the primary responsible for ensuring ethical AI. So you have some, who in your company, huh, 100%. Wow. So this is even more interesting. It's like everyone. Okay, 3 votes. So you can, think about it. Who has to think? How we have to think about it? Where and should we sit and discuss? So we have to make sure it is in place. So this is our dilemma, the STEM people, non-neutrality. Uh, it has, it has to be embedded, and we have to take the responsibility as the engineers who's designing it. We have to take the responsibility, and this is for the future, because we are not going back and improving anymore. So whatever we give now, it has to be there. It has to be embedded. Ethics has to be there. Privacy has to be there in place. So we have already spoken about transparency, accountability, and this is where the responsible AI and data ethics merges together, and data sovereignty, empowering individuals. My data, I have the power for it. I have the say to it. No one else. I decide who and when they can see it. But the algorithm, which is making it, possible, the open AI systems, it has to be trustworthy. There should be fairness into it. Explain. I should be able to identify the potential bias. So as I was in the start, I spoke about the ethical AI design framework, and now I will give you my slides later. And it's basically one of the use cases, as I spoke, and I said it's close to my heart, is the healthcare. And using that as the use case. And in healthcare, if you dive in, it is a very big application area. So each, you have to divide into smaller parts. And based on that, how does the ethical framework work? How does the ethical AI design framework will work? And it has to have the feedback loop. So it is a must. If we don't have that, we will have issues to understand what is needed to improve next steps. Um, Similar is for digital privacy by design, and we have already proposed some of the work there in Digital Privacy Initiative, and you can find that on IEEE website in the initiative itself, that they are models, and healthcare is one of the verticals, and connected vehicle is the other vertical. So you can look into some of the papers we have published there, and we are discussing. You can join also there. I'm not advertising, so but you're most welcome to do it. So ethical review and public stakeholder engagement is very important. So with that, if I already spoke about the UN human rights article 12. Please read it to understand more. When I'm talking about human dignity and societal values, this is very fundamental right. So EU AI Act impacts and UNESCO ethical framework, you have to understand how they are, and does it really work? There are recommendations there, like for fairness and bias detection, uh, explainability or transparency is there, accountability, which is very important. But what do we need to make our AI governance work? So risks, and I will skip this because I discussed through my slides already. There are many risks, and we can keep on talking about it and make a taxonomy of it. And manipulation is there, dependency is there, you know, critical thinking. So beyond algorithmic bias, we have to think, rethink on AI risks. And as I already spoke about deskilling and dependency on AI systems, we are removing humans from critical thinking, as sometimes I say to the children, when I'm talking to them. So maybe not loved sometimes when I use those words, because that I am removing Chat GPT from them or other systems. But that is the uh, thought. How do we bring them back, or to the critical thinking, or understand the basics before we start building something which will improve our life for future. Ethic is core. I already proactive thinking and holistic thinking. These are three things which we should look at and think about. This is one slide which I always talk about: hybrid team formation. So, as an engineer, a lot of times we work in isolation. We work with our engineering teams. A lot of times I have been asked a question: are you a hardware company or a software company? What is your expertise, your hardware or software expertise? Believe me, I sit across all these domains. My degree says I'm an engineer. That means I should be able to work with hardware and software. And don't ask me to write code, please. But yes, understanding what is the need, how is the legal framework working. So healthcare in US, we have HIPAA, but how good is HIPAA in controlling our digital privacy data, our healthcare data? Does your country have it? How does it work, like GDPR in Europe? But how good is GDPR in keeping all my data private, my healthcare information? And from a humanistic insights, like having the psychiatric, lawmakers, policymakers, politicians sitting with you to understand what is their agenda and how will my AI system or algorithm work to solve it. So, empowering the next generation students, or even going all the way back to schools. As I said in the start, I have been working with IEEE when I was a high schooler, and it brings me closer to not just engineering but STEM, but also understand what the society needs are. What is the use case? Understand and define the use case or the verticals in such a way that I can design and develop new solutions. So ethically, and bringing empathy into it. So some of the tools which I spoke about, and you can see DeepSeek. I personally use DeepSeek when I'm doing things, because again, it is transparent. Transparency is so important. But if you list, I don't know if you can read it, but you can Google these and check about it, but also read it later in my slides. Empathy. I just, before starting the session and also before even coming to this talk, I was expressing myself that I cannot see the audience. Audience can see me, but I cannot see it. So I cannot feel how my talk is being received, or how my presence is being received. So assistive, personalized support. You can see where I'm coming from, the empathy, to see the empathy in there. Context aware scenarios. So tailor making depending on the use case, not saying healthcare and I have made it, or policing, or social control, or whatever. All the use cases you can come up, smart cities. How do you control it in each? Like, how do you make this AI system context aware and relevant? Improving user experience becomes and satisfaction. That is our goal. So I will just leave this one saying again, repeating and making sure ethical AI, and this is all the key points which we have to look at. Building trust. Okay, I have to quickly go into my last slide because I would like that. I was almost there. So I just skipped one. And just to give you a summary and reflection on emphasizing the designing of AI with empathy, the user needs. And as I said, the UN human rights, Article 12, which always brings me back. There are many articles, but 12 always hits the right spot for me. Magnifying human intent. And again, bringing ethics, privacy, working together with the right team for whatever scenario you're going to implement your AI system to, and how do you bring the empathy in there. Thank you.